You got anybody have a bunch of delays getting in? I know some of you guys didn't get in till late last night.
Currently puts out
Right on. Yeah.
going forward. And sometimes but
All right. So we should have a pretty good class here. We've got a bunch of information in this manual. I think we're kind of going to try to get through this fairly quickly because I want to spend as much time out on the floor going through a bunch of stuff. So we're going to, the machines are wide open for us. So we're going to go through some SOPs. We're going to go through the electrical cabinet and, a bunch of parts. Then, hopefully get you guys real familiar with the machine. So most of you guys here are dealers. So, you guys are doing the technical support out there for us. I'm always an extension of you guys, but I'm also in the field the same as you guys are. I travel about 85% of the time. So, for me, we work on the same equipment, all the time. So you're pretty efficient at it. So I know it pretty well. So a lot of you guys call me and it's never an issue. A lot of times it's quicker because I know right off the top of my head what you guys got to do to get things done, so always feel free to reach out. I think I've talked to most of you, if not all of you, but if not, my name is Shane. I'm the senior service engineer here with Eurotech. I've been with the company 19 years. So, my job here is basically not only field service, but technical support. So let's go ahead and get this kicked off. So going through this manual, the first section here, we've got the common electrical abbreviations, which you'll find throughout our manual. The SQs are sensors, such as your clamp sensor, those sort of things, live tool orientation. QFs for breakers, overloads, KMs, magnetic contactors, SBs are buttons. Right. The T1 is transformer. EL, our inside light. Our UL is electrical converters. EBs, fans, M's for motors. GS1, GS2 is your low voltage control power supplies, your 24 DC. GS1 is typically your voltage for the drives and NC, and the GS2 is for your working voltage, which would be either AP1, AP2. It's going to manage all the voltage for your solenoids. The KA400-401 is our e-stop relay and door safety relay. There's been some changes on that now. We still have the KA400 for the e-stop, but now we're going through an AP board for the doors, which we'll see that out there once we get out on the floor. In the manual, Ks will represent the relays on the AP1 board. H's will represent the relays on the AP2. So if we got something going on in either one, it's pretty quick and easy to reference those. All right, and then the next stage is going to be just a lot of common symbols that you see in the electrical circuits. I put this basically in there just as a reference for you guys. I don't think we're going to go through all of this stuff, but it's you can see what the components are, and then through the following pages, I give you a description of what all of these symbols are. Most of these, when we're going through the electrical manuals, we don't really pay attention to a lot of them anyway. You see them on there, but usually that's not something that's gonna direct us to servicing the electrical issue. And a lot of that stuff is more in the boards. So let's just go ahead and get right to the electrical manual and the flow. So you guys as dealers, you get the machine, you got to deal with the customer, let them know what they need for power. So, the very first page in your electrical schematics is going to tell you, the three-phase voltage at 400 volts. It's three-phase at plus or minus 10% at 50 hertz. You're going to require a 37 kVA transformer, and then your current absorption, right? Then below that, you just have all of your drive and motor information. So if we go to the next page, You're going to see on the left side of the page is our grid, 1 through 18. So when even if we're looking at this here, the primary voltage, and our electrical manual starts right out with termination of the primary voltage, and it goes right through the whole machine, in succession. So it's really nice and easy. I think their electrical is probably one of the best laid out electricals in my opinion. So right away we have our 3-phase voltage coming in to QF1, which is our main disconnect. Right through that we have a line filter. And you're going to notice here on that right side on the grid 3 there, we have the door lock switch. So on the back of on our electrical cabinet, we have a red button. We also have that SQ1, which is the yellow T button. Is everybody familiar with that? When you open up that electrical cabinet door, you got to push in that red button, swing it open, and then pull that the T pin out. And this way you can let go of the red button. Otherwise, if you don't, it's going to kick out the main disconnect. It'll trip it. So you have the K7. The K7 is a coil that's on that main disconnect. That is for our auto shutoff. So typically at the end of the day, if you shut your machines down or your customer shuts the machines down, we recommend that they just push the e-stop button in and walk away. There's a timer in there set that it's like 8 minutes, I think, 8 to 10 minutes, that the machine will release that coil and will go into trip and will kick out the main power. So this way the machine just shuts down on its own. The reason they do that because they have air purges on the main spindle and the sub spindle, and they want it to purge out, any remaining cooling there before you shut down. Okay. So, another thing that's tied into this, right? If we go to, we're going to, the next page is going to be 211. So, right. So it's a continuation of our primary voltage, gets into our spindle motor fan. So when we turn on the main power, the spindle motor fans are going to kick on right away. And then following down that, you have our QF310. So I'm going to just kind of jump into my manual here on the computer here. And it's the same manual that I took this information off of. On grid 5, right, we see QF310. And if I needed to find that QF310, so when navigating the electrical, right, if a customer calls me and says, hey, I got a QF310 tripping, right, to get there quickly, I can just throw up the control F, right, to type in that QF310. And that's going to jump me to the back of the manual. So this gives me not only the part number right here, right, code N, but it also tells me what page to see that on. So now I can jump to that. So that I use a lot, when you guys call me and say, hey, I've got a problem with this or that, it makes it quick and easy for me to get to something to help you guys continue troubleshooting. All right, so just going down this here, we have our T1 transformer, which is going to give us our 230 volts, 204, 200 volts. And then when you look at this, right, so QF22, if I want to see a continuation of that QF22, for one, the label right here is the wire label. Let's see. The terminology or the numbers at the end of that tells me what page to go to. So I need to go to page 3, grid 2. So here's a continuation of that. And so we have our breaker, a relay K28, which is for our light. So when we push the button, our light comes on. We've got a voltage converter U1, and then our EL1 light. And as we go down on this, right, we've got our GS2 and our GS1. Now again, these go through and give me all the places that I need to go to see where this information is going to, or where the next step is and the electrical, pens. All right, we're going to scroll down through this a little bit. Okay, so this page here is another handy one because it gives me the route of all the cabling, drives, power supply, amplifiers. If I've got a scale or any of that sort of stuff, I can locate this stuff on here. I can see how the whole system is set up on that machine, whether it's a single turret or a dual turret. This probably isn't going to be in your guys' manual. This is all on this. If you guys power up your laptops, this has this same manual on that I'm looking at right now. So if you guys wanted to, follow along on that, you could. Okay, so I'm going down to the start of the drives. So one thing to note on these, you'll notice at the very bottom here, we have A0. So in the electrical cabinet, everything is labeled. If it isn't labeled on it, it's labeled below it or above it. So the drives below it on these are going to have, A designations, A0, 1, 2, so on and so forth. So again, if a customer calls me and says, hey, I got an issue on an amplifier, what amplifier is it? You can ask them to tell you what A number it is, and that's going to give you a quick reference. So again, you can open up your manual. You can either scroll through this or you can do the Control F and search for the A number, right? And it's going to drop you down to the back of the manual. And then again, it's going to give you the page designation of where you need to go. In terms of drives, right? One thing that is a very handy app to have, and I don't know if any of you guys have this, right, is the Fanuc CNC app, right? If you don't have it, I would suggest you download it. Because if I have an alarm, right, just say I have a 436, I'm going to type in that 436 and do a search. And it's going to give me all of the alarms that are on there for the 436. And once I click on it, it's going to give me some information. Another handy app to have, one thing I get a lot of is guys will say, hey, I'm in the parts manual, but it's all in Italian. I can't decipher what this part is. I don't speak Italian to read it either. But we haven't had English manuals for the parts side of it since 1999, I think. So Google Translate, if you have that app, when you open it up, it has a camera function on it. If you open up that camera function and you hold it up to it, it's going to convert all of it into English for you.
In real time. You move it around on the screen.
Yeah.
In real time.
Right. So if you when you look at the parts manual drawings, you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for. You may see it on the drawing, but then you want to confirm obviously what it is, and you get there and you're not really sure. So this app will really help you out. Now on these drives, right, they everything, every terminal plug-in is labeled on there. They give you the cable W124. Now another thing also is when you're working on a machine, if you think you've got a bad cable or know you've got a bad cable, every cable on our machine has a part number on it. It's listed as E950 and it's in small print. So it's one of these. I didn't even know. So, I think the only cables that don't have it would be like your eject check, that sort of stuff. But any cable going to a motor or amplifier, they all have the part number on it. And everything's also, of course, labeled on each plug-in. So it's really hard to screw up reconnecting a drive. If you got to pull a drive, it's easy enough, pull it out. And everything is labeled, so you know exactly where you got to put it back in. So here we've got the spindle amplifier. So our spindles, that we have a magnetic ring and a pickup on it. We use a Heidenhain scale for the C-axis positioning, which gives us, I think it's to 1/10 of a degree on that. So if you have to find a part number for that, you go right to the spindle drive, and it gives us the part numbers right here for your sensor and your magnetic ring. And they also, of course, give us a layout on the cable on the next page on that. So I'd like to go out here now, and I just want to go through the electrical cabinet. So if you guys want to come on out here.